Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Breakthrough Innovation. With us today is Rob Riggs, a marketing technology strategist with over 20 years of experience helping businesses grow smarter, not harder. Rob has worked with Fortune 100 companies and SMBs alike, leveraging AI, automation, and data-driven digital workflows to drive massive business growth. In this episode today, we're going to dive into a few things. The first being the biggest mistakes SMBs make with marketing automation. What's real, what's hype? Second, how small businesses can compete with big players using AI and smart systems. And then lastly, what's the future of AI and SMB marketing? So this is going to be a great conversation focusing around what you can and can't do with AI in your marketing. And Rob, we're excited to dive in. So thanks for being here. Let's get going.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rob.
Awesome. So to start off, Rob, maybe share a little bit about your journey and what led to your current role.
Sure, yeah. So I started kind of back right at the turn of the century, which makes me sound a lot older than I probably am. But I was working in a clothing manufacturer that was small, scrappy, 50 employees, and one of the challenges that they were trying to solve is that their customer service reps were never able to see, where their orders were in the process. Essentially, I was able to figure out. I had a natural knack in curiosity for solving things with the spreadsheets and little tools like that. Was able to solve that. That was over the next few years, kind of the birth of the internet as like a daily tool, and so that helped me evolve. What really got me excited was building tools that helped people's day-to-day in business, make that easier, and get them more productive, more efficient. And so here I am today, started the company in 2009, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
Nice.
Well, 2009, I mean, you have to have been doing something right if you're still in business then. So at least one or two things. No, and I love the marketing experience and that solution-focused mindset. Like, how do we actually solve problems? I think that's something a lot of people feel like they have, but it's probably more rare than people think. So
Interesting, yeah.
as you're looking at tools, though, like with AI shaking up marketing and your position in that market, what do you see as hype and what do you see as real? Like, what should people be looking out for?
So when that rolled out, ChatGPT launched at the end of the year, a couple of years ago, and I was curious, started experimenting, and it was not as good as the hype, but it was pretty cool to push questions and get answers back that showed some level of thought. I do think there's some actual intelligence. It's not just mapping it's not autocomplete for the next word that follows this word.
Right.
Like you hear some people say, but the challenge I found was that it got really confused sometimes if you didn't give it step-by-step instructions. And so one of the things that I had played with, it's really cool to see new tools come constantly integrated into tools that I've used for years that didn't used to have AI integrated. But some of the tools that are coming out now that are, replicate yourself, turn yourself into video, replicate your audio.
Yeah.
I can totally see the benefit there, but the tech is not there yet. It's not obvious as the tools released. You can kind of tell there's a glitch every few seconds, so you can see that's AI. And then obviously they fix some of those glitches. You can feed an AI bot a script and then go to town creating content, posting on LinkedIn or whatever. It's not there yet. It's not as engaging. If you guys are familiar with the term uncanny valley, there's like something that is lifelike, but there's just something the eyes are dead or there's something weird about it. And that's still putting people off. And so I'd steer clear of the replicate humans with the video and audio on screen until it's much more advanced than it is today.
I've seen a couple of memes that called up how you identified the fairy folk in
Right.
and they'd be like, look at the fingers, count the toes, look at the teeth. And we see the same thing today when you're looking at, is that an AI generated image? Like, look at the hands. Did they have an extra finger? Yeah.
Yes.
Uncanny Valley.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Yeah, it's a great way to do that because you see that so frequently. I think it's getting better. And then how do you protect people with absolutely, six fingers or, whatever? I don't know.
Like the guy from Princess Bride, right?
Yeah.
No, and I do think like what you're talking about though, that's a limit right now. That's probably not going to be a limit in a year or two.
The rest of it is incredible.
And rapid.
Yes.
So, as people are kind of picking up these tools and experimenting with AIs, what are some of the big mistakes you see small, medium businesses making when it comes to this digital marketing, this automation, this integration of AI into their systems?
Yeah. So what we see all the time is people either trusting the AI too much without giving it context and appropriate levels of content for training. And so people try to either automate nothing and they're doing everything manually, or they try to automate everything without the appropriate training. You can't. It's just like marketing. You can't set it and forget it. Automation doesn't fix a broken funnel. So it's a matter of it's just a tool to help you do what you do better. But it's not here to replace us. It's not here to take our jobs. And yeah.
It sounds like what you're saying is that we need to have a bit of that balance. Any one of the extremes, not using it or only using it, has some danger, and that balance in the middle of I think we've heard some other people on the podcast talk about it as more of a partnership. This is a human AI partnership working together. Either of them
Right.
apart is not very effective, and it's together
Right.
power.
What I want is creating a persona that pulls in input. Like if I sat down and had a conversation with Einstein or Steve Jobs and name your big off or something, the amount of impact they could have on my business today would be incredible. If you feed one of their great books into ChatGPT for learning, and I've got CEO, CMO, CFO personas built into ChatGPT that I could solve on a regular basis, help me with this problem. And I bring the context, but getting ideas that I would not otherwise have without AI.
That's great.
No, I like that. I think I'm hearing a lot more about people creating their own AI agents for different roles, like creating their AI team. That said, while I feel like that's an innovative solution, I'm also curious, like from your experience, we talked about some of the mistakes. What's the most innovative thing you've seen recently? Like what are people doing that are really kind of on the edge, but pretty cool?
Yeah. I'm seeing, so I've created my personas, like I mentioned. I'm seeing tools that are that now. This Sintra is interesting. They've launched kind of. They're not yet fully market ready, but they've got 12 personas. One's a marketer, one's a CFO, kind of like it's about with GPT. They're built in, so you kind of just like you have a team of 12 team members, you go to one person for this thing. It's almost a virtual office. There's a similar model that's less business focused and just for somebody that needs a friend to chat with, so they don't get lonely, which is fascinating to me.
Yeah,
That is. I mean, the statistics, particularly since COVID, are that loneliness is by far the number one reason for death. I mean, it's comorbidity with lots of stuff, but loneliness is the worst thing. So that's
one of the big contributing factors.
Yeah, that's sad.
Well, and it's interesting to me, like as a coach, one of the things I'm fascinated by and terrified of is this idea of AI coaches, right? Like people can use an AI agent rather than hiring a person.
Yeah.
And while that does terrify me, I do think there's some value in so many people are afraid of being vulnerable enough to go talk to a coach or a therapist or you name the type of support they need. I think while AI is not as good as a real life person for all the reasons we've discussed so far, it's better than nothing as well. And I think there's something to that. A lot of times in the startup world, sometimes better than nothing is good enough.
Yes, for sure. Love that. The amount of data that we have access to today is incredible. And AI can help sift through the junk and give us what's actually valuable. If the challenge there is knowing what AI is pulling from, is it pulling from the junk or is it pulling from the good stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking pretty big scope here. So, Rob, if someone's looking to get started and they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like what's the starting point that isn't overwhelming, but is really going to drive impact for them?
Yeah. I think so. I start by automating the things that are already working. It takes time, but don't generate revenue. Lead follow up, appointment scheduling, the reporting, things like that. I get a report on my in my email every Monday and the first of every month. That's purely AI showing financials and what's going on in the business, some of the high level things that I need to see. And it's extremely powerful at a glance without having to pull up QuickBooks and without having to pull up our project management system to see kind of who's working on what, who's running out of things to do, who's overloaded. It's really powerful at a glance to see kind of what's going on in the business.
Yeah. And pretty low risk, I would think. Like it'd be, if it's wrong, you're probably going to be able to find out and verify it pretty easily. But more often than not, it just saves you minutes, if not hours, a week or a day.
It's absolutely
Awesome. So you mentioned, like, what are you using to generate those reports? Is it something straight out of QuickBooks? Is it a third-party tool? Like, how are you doing that?
I'm using ChatGPT for a lot, and the custom agents within that. So I've built a handful there, and integrations with some of the tools. And I have the benefit of a development team, sitting down the hall, and so we can build API into QuickBooks and into a project management system and things like that to pull that in. That not everybody would have, but certainly I think that's where we get. As soon as something starts looking like commercially viable, I'd love to turn that into a Monday minute report or whatever. That'd be fascinating to me.
No, I love that idea. And I know, just looking at the time, we're getting close to that wrap up time. So maybe it's time to ask the fun question everybody loves. Rob, what's the takeaway you want listeners today to have? Like, what do you think is the valuable thing they should walk away with?
Nice. I think the biggest thing is AI is not something to be afraid of. It's here to help. Despite we've heard AI taking over the world, and all humans. We're not there. The cliche is that AI is not good for our jobs, but the people who know how to use AI are going to replace us. And that's extremely powerful. It's motivating, but just the level of efficiency that's available to us if we explore is extremely powerful.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's never been easier to learn as well. I think, if I was going to give one piece of advice on top of what you're saying is there are so many tools, so many YouTube videos, so many free classes that you can use to educate yourself and learn how to do this. Like there's no reason not to.
The barrier for entry is so low.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. There's so much free tutorial out there for sure.
Well, Rob, this has been an absolutely great conversation, and 15 minutes always goes by way too fast. But I do want to say thank you, and I do want to thank everyone else who's listened all the way to the end. If today's episode brought you value, please leave a rating and a review. It helps us out a lot. And if you found something in here when talking to Rob about AI and how marketing can benefit from it and what's real and what's hype that's valuable that other people could benefit from, don't hesitate to share, introduce everyone to Rob, and share the wealth. Lastly, take a moment, think about what is your one takeaway, go out, apply it, and then let us know how it goes, because we love to hear about the continuous improvement. Rob, thank you again. Everyone who's listening, thank you as well. And we'll see you all next time on Breakthrough Innovation.